All right. Hello, everyone. I'll give it a minute for everybody to join in. Hi, Anna.
Hello, hi.
Perhaps, Anna, you could also close your camera for the recording. It would be easiest. Glad that everybody could join us today for our info session. Give it one more minute. Just giving all of your team members a bit more time to find the link and to join so that they don't miss out for all of the good things that we'll be discussing today. Okay. Well, it's been now 1 minute. I will start. I'm sure that there will be more joining at the moment. We're on 25 attendees. So yeah, today it is the informative session for the EUDIS Defense Hackathons in 2025. More specifically, we'll zoom in on the autumn edition, which will be organized on the 17th of October. This is the agenda for today. So after my little opening remarks, we'll delve into understanding a little bit better about what this EUDIS part is in front of the EUDIS hackathons. Then we will go and provide you a general overview of the program, its kind of objectives and how we aim to achieve those, and what makes the EUDIS hackathon so unique. Then we will have also some time to go into the open call platform, basically how to make an account, where to find the guide for applicants, what we expect from your application as well. We'll do some 10 minutes on some tips for successful applicants as well. I think that would be nice to do. Maybe it will answer some of the questions that you might have on what are the certain type of things that we're looking for, and what are some characteristics that previous local organizers have shown us in the application that made them win. And then towards the end, we'll do a live Q&A session. So make sure as well to be active on that. I will bring to the next slide here who we are. So the consortium, it's managed by 4 different organizations. Me personally, I'm from Civita, but we also have with us Technopol. It's a startup incubator. They're going to be responsible for the central hub activities as well as the mentorship program. We have Secoforma with us. They are in charge of the communication efforts and dissemination parts. And we have Carsa, and Carsa will also speak today. They are managing the open call procedures, and also play a role in the mentorship program. But the slide that I wanted to show you quickly here is the rules for the info session. We are here to help you, okay, to kind of inform you correctly so that you know everything that you need to know to apply. But the best way we do that is if you are interacting with us. So for that, we have a Q&A, which is open. And so that's one of those buttons here you can find on the top, right? So you have the people, you have the chat, but you also have this Q&A button. From there, you can start creating a post and sharing with us some questions that you have so that during the Q&A part, we can answer them directly. And you have the option to as well start those posts anonymously, so you don't have to reveal who you are, which means that even the most stupid questions are welcomed. Okay, so don't be afraid, and keep them coming as well, even during the presentation. Um, so some other 2 points towards the end here. We are recording the session, and the video will be published online on the website. And after the session, we will publish as well the Q&A, so that everybody has that missed it also has the information that you have. So hopefully that's clear. And we can start with our first point. I would welcome here David to the stage, and he will introduce the EUDIS part. Welcome, David.
Thank you very much, Lucas. Good morning, everybody. Very happy to be here. Again, my name is David Jelinek. I'm the policy officer at DG DEFIS, which is Directorate General of the European Commission for Defense Industry and Space. And I currently work in the unit responsible for defense policy and defense innovation, hence the EUDIS part on this presentation. So very quickly, to give you some overview on what we are doing, why EUDIS, and what's behind these EUDIS hackathons. Because as you can see, it's a part of a bit of an umbrella initiative called EUDIS, which is the EU Defense Innovation Scheme. It was launched in 2022 to address some hurdles. Basically, we very much know that Europe must fully leverage the innovation ecosystem we have here. Why? Because innovation is key to bolster our defense capabilities and reduce strategic dependencies. It is clear that the nature of warfare, if we have a look at Ukraine or anywhere else in the world, actually, it is changing, and deep tech companies are playing vital role in this developing warfare. Let's say the style of how warfare is going or doing, and these deep tech companies are developing cutting-edge solutions for our military superiority. So it is really key for us to be able to prepare ourselves in the case of most extreme military contingencies. So in order to support these deep tech companies, because we know that they have the real disruptive effect to the battlefield, but unfortunately there are some hurdles. They remain underfunded. They have difficulties to finance their growth and to enter defense supply chain, which are currently very, let's say, rigid. So in order to do that, we created so-called EUDIS, the European Union Defense Innovation Scheme. It is basically expanding the European Defense Fund, EDF, dedicated support to SMEs and disruptive technologies. EUDIS has three quite clear goals. It's to accelerate defense innovation. It's to broaden the innovation base. Basically, we want to create synergies between civil, defense, space innovation, these domains that are quite connected, and we really need to use this potential much more than we do today. EUDIS provides opportunities for non-traditional defense actors with focus on SMEs, in particular startups and scale-ups, and the result of this broadening the innovation base is already apparent. We see that the participation of SMEs is rising very much in EDF, and we know that this is the way to go. This is what we want to do. And the third goal, let's say, we have de-risking high potential ideas. So the target of EUDIS is 1.5 billion. I'll show the number in the next slide, but it's by 2027. You can see in the middle. This is the number I'm talking about. It's part of EDF, as I said, and this is by 2027. So since it was started in 2022, this is a 5-year budget. It's approximately 20% of EDF budget. So you see that the dedication is really on the table. It's visible. And now, very quickly, what EUDIS is, what we have under this umbrella that falls under EDF. So first of all, of course, we have the Defense and Defense for Space hackathons. They are annual, so we have 2 editions every year. We have spring and autumn edition, and part of it is also mentoring program, but I let Lucas to go a bit more into detail, because this is the actual focus of today's webinar. Then we have Business Accelerator. Business Accelerator basically is a very fresh activity. It was launched in March 2025, so a couple of months ago. It is really targeted to support individual startups and scale-ups. It provides defense business related training and coaching to individual startups and scale-ups. And we already see that there is a lot of interest in this activity. For the first cohort, we received over 400 applications. So it is really something that was missing apparently, because of a lot of the fuss it made. And we will be announcing the first cohort of 20 companies very soon. In the beginning of June, so you can expect to have this information. Then also to mention that both Business Accelerator and Matchmaking are also done together with Civita, which is today's host. So don't hesitate to contact either us or Civita. We'll be very happy to help you and to give you some information about these actions. But of course, all of these actions, they have dedicated part at the EUDIS website, so you are very welcome to go there and to see whether there is something interesting for you. The next action we have, it's the Matchmaking, also launched in March 2025. The call is always open, so there is no deadline. It aims to bring together innovative companies, private investors, and to improve their access to funding through online and on-site matchmaking events. So in practice, how it works, we go to events around Europe, and basically we invite companies to pitch, or we provide them with a booth where they could promote their company, and hopefully to get their investment they are looking for. So this is Matchmaking. Then we have very briefly also the Defense Equity Facility, which is the access to finance for investors. It is action dedicated to European Investment Fund. Very briefly what it is, the 175 million equity instrument is basically money we invest into private funds, and then the funds take the money and co-invest together with us into companies. So basically, if you're looking for investment, this is how it works from our side. And then the last program I have here, we have several EDF research and development grants that are designed to attract more defense companies. We have open calls, non-thematic calls for SMEs, research organizations, and open non-thematic calls on the disruptive technologies. The grant size is, as you can see, 4 to 6 million. Then we have technological challenges. They enable multiple R&D teams to compare their solution to address technological objective. We have spin-in calls, allowing to explore the dual-use potential of results generated in EU-funded civil R&D. So this is again the dual-use focus of what you're looking for. And last but not least, we have calls with acceleration services for startup with a separate cascade funding envelope within the grant. And if I can go to the last slide I prepared for you today, very briefly, the way forward. So as you know, this is quite fresh. You could have seen the Business Accelerator Matchmaking launched just a couple of months ago. EUDIS Hackathon, this will be the third, if I'm not mistaken, edition. So this is all kind of fresh, and we want to show that this is not something that we just want to do, just now because it's a hot topic, but it's really something that will continue to grow and to hopefully improve and serve the purpose. Because innovation is actually one of the priorities which we outlined in the recently published white paper for European defense. I think that you've probably heard about this paper, but I really, if not, I recommend reading this. Really, innovation is one of the key priorities outlined in this paper. We are intensifying dialogue with so-called new defense players to understand how to change the way we do defense, because we know that currently how we do it, it will not work. We have to change something. We need to discuss how to create the conditions for Europe to become home to the new defense technology ecosystem, what we call informally a red carpet, basically. So we want to really, this is our chance. We either do or we die. And the last thing, how to develop teams and software-based equipment that will give us the agility we need. Because we know that, as I mentioned, the system now currently is a bit rigid. We need to make it agile. We need to make it basically fit for purpose. So the way forward, we are aiming to scale EUDIS in support of EU defense innovation through these things, R&D and grants, basically faster funding mechanism, because we know that currently what we have might not be for fit purpose. Like EDF calls might take a bit too long for startups, and really when you're in the situation where a month is you either get the money or you finish and you basically close the company. So we know that this is something that needs to be addressed. Access to finance. Once again, growth stage equity funding. We need to support scale up, financing support of SMEs in defense supply chain. We'll also look into procurement. We'll also look into testing and validation. But I really invite you today to basically hear about the first step in the whole umbrella EUDIS we have, and this is the hackathons, where Lucas will now tell you a bit more. This is basically the first step for you to, well, the idea is to solve the challenge, to hopefully create a company, and then to continue with within EUDIS. But of course, you are the ones who will be, or hopefully who will be applying for local organizers. So this is important for you to know where this action fits in the whole puzzle we call EU Defense Innovation Scheme. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David. Please also, if you have questions about how it fits in the larger scheme, make sure to use the Q&A button. I see already some of them are popping in here, which is great. I will introduce now a little bit more about where David just left off, which is the hackathons, right? So the first step in that chain. Basically, for our side here, what are the objectives? So the first and foremost is to attract innovators to work in a defense area. And this means from all different sectors. Okay, so we're quite broad in that sense. Defense is a high topic. It's a topic for everyone, and some people just want to kind of enter that defense market now already. But we're also looking for participants and innovators from defense sectors. But that's what we mean here with fostering a bridge between the civil and the defense ecosystems. We don't mean necessarily dual use here, but from a talent perspective, bringing over more smart people to the defense sector to innovate. And of course, we're trying to create and focus those type of solutions that they are creating into solutions that can support EU member states and Norway with their military needs. So how are we doing that? That's where the EUDIS hackathon becomes a bit more unique, maybe let's say, than other hackathons in other sectors. So we have 8 locations all over Europe, that's where you come in, that are organizing a hackathon in the same weekend simultaneously. They are in contact with the central hub. That is what we call kind of ourselves, or the part that we take care of. So it's kind of it's a studio, and we tune in with each other. And after that, we have 8 winners so one winner from each of the locations. We take them and we are putting them in the mentorship program with some more support, which I'll talk about later as well. So good to point out here, all of the hackathons, they are having the same challenges that they solve. All hackathons are a hybrid model, not only meaning you're connecting with the central hub and with the other locations, no, also meaning you will have online participants as well that need to be tailored and catered to, and we will help you with that as well. During the weekend, we're doing from the central hub some opening remarks and some closing remarks at the end, maybe doing some winners announcements all together. Most closely familiar maybe with Eurovision, right? So we'll go from location to location, kind of announcing who won. So not 12 points, but you know who won, and that's always kind of an exciting moment, I think, for each of the hackathon winners and the weekend itself, and boosting the connection between all of the locations. And all locations will then also follow a standardized approach for the selection of participants and the winners and whatnot. Um, so yeah, what is new this edition? Well, you're able to involve Ukrainian citizens in the hackathon teams as mentors, as speakers, and part of your selection board. So that is pretty nice. Also, the mentorship program will be 2 months, and it will be a hybrid and a makeathon concept. So, makeathon meaning if there are hardware startups, then you need to tailor towards them as well. There is many services out there that can help you with that in case you've not done that before. I'm sure I can talk a bit more about that towards the end when, in case you have questions about this makeathon concept. And please do ask. I will address them towards the end. The main theme and challenge for the autumn edition is more space related. So in the spring edition, we were kind of rapidly innovating solutions for Ukraine and EU. This year, or in the autumn edition, apologies, we will make more solutions for space domain and also vice versa, using the space domain to become better at the battlefield. So the main theme of space is subdivided into 3 different challenges. These can be quite interpreted quite broadly. So please don't feel like that you're extremely limited by the challenges, but we try to provide as much direction to them as possible without hindering really cool projects and nice ideas. So the first challenge would be protection of space assets. Here we are focusing on detecting, analyzing, and kind of countering threats in space. So you can think of, navigating debris and whatnot. We also have then the second challenge, space for defense. So this is taking some capabilities we have in space and making them work in the battlefield. So think of Earth observation, maybe new navigation systems for autonomous land vehicles. It can be communication hardware, software, and also the last part, which is important, it's coordination over multi-domain military operations. So how do you work closely together between various ships on the sea and troops on land, and how do you coordinate between those? So that's a really important point as well. The third one, it's sovereign aerospace. So aerospace also includes the flying domain, so unmanned aerial vehicles. They don't always have to be drones, but they can be drones. You can look more specifically to the management of those hardware assets or about the production chain, and you can also brainstorm some countermeasures to that. Okay, moving on, what we have here. So the kind of repeating here that we have a opportunity for Ukrainians to participate, and we encourage this quite a lot. It draws a incredible audience as well if you communicate about that. And furthermore, I think it's very useful for the teams to have direct feedback on those previously managed challenges and their ideas about it, like how can they actually use it. And that brings a lot of value to the weekend. So we really encourage you to look for that. And in some cases, we can also help you centrally. Timeline, extremely important. You will have the slides as well. This will also be in the guideline from applicants, but in case you can't wait to look at it more, please take a screenshot as well, just in case. But you will have all of the information. Most importantly, upfront right now is that your deadline will be the 22nd of June, which provides you with adequate time if you continue the conversation this week with your organization, if you want to apply or not, you still have a lot of time to apply. The application process is not super long, meaning it doesn't take too much time, but so yeah, it should be more than feasible. After we receive all of your applications, we will start the evaluation process immediately. So the week after, we will have the evaluations. Then in the first week of July, we are doing consensus meetings and communicating as soon as we know the winners. So from our side, it will be quite quick. You would then need to go through a proof of ownership process. More details about that once you win, but basically we need to make sure that you are who you say you are. We'll do the kickoff all together in July already. And from basically July until October, we're doing coaching calls together. These will be calls where we zoom in into a particular topic of the hackathon and making sure that everybody's aligned on that. So this will happen from July to October. The hackathon itself will be the 17th of October, which is an important date because it means that we can close the mentorship program before all the holidays start in December. So that's why 17th and 19th of October. But yeah, so most importantly, it's the 22nd of June right now. That's the date really that you have to keep in mind. Okay. You will receive the following support. So we have the kickoff meetings. We will do ongoing coaching and communication calls. So first, kind of 8 coaching calls, zooming in on different topics. We will also provide you with a Notion and other written materials that we have. We have produced plenty of templates over the 3 times that we've organized this now, and we'll make them all accessible to you so you can do your work quite fast. Same goes with communication materials. We have a lot of good pictures we can use and social media posts. All of that will be supported from our side as well. And we'll set up a shared Microsoft SharePoint where we can go back and forth on some certain files and information we might require from your side. And yeah, the selected organizers will be responsible for promoting the teamwork, innovation, and communication within their local communities, right? So we help you as much as we can with the standardized processes, but in the end, you are going to be responsible for attracting the right audience and running an effective hackathon. The winners, they will receive 2 months of mentoring program. This will, in total, or for each of the teams, this would be 40 hours of mentorship at the minimum. So that will be in taking the form of workshops, really introducing them to the defense sector. They will be matched with key mentors. These are previous successful defense tech startup founders that will follow them through their journey and help them make strategic decisions. We also do an ad hoc mentor pool. This means that if they run into some specific issue which requires specific expertise, we will do our best to onboard that, sign NDAs, and pay for that expertise so they can talk to a lot of really high level and experts in their field. And of course, we do some peer-to-peer learning with previous batches and kind of in our alumni network. So that's how we continue to support them. And in the end, they will also do EU-wide pitching. So all of the 8 hack winners, they will pitch again to each other in front of the EU member states representatives. And we will take them to a physical event as well, the top 3. Eligibility criteria and requirements. So who can apply? This is the long text, but basically what we need here from you is that you are a private or public organization that is located and managed in EU countries or Norway, so European Union countries and Norway, and that you have the infrastructure, facilities, and assets in order to run a effective hackathon that is then taking place in those countries as well. Organizational and technical requirements. So you need to have a venue or rent a venue that is minimum capacity for 50 people. You can only allow citizens and residents of EU member states and Norway. So that doesn't mean I can either be a citizen or I can reside here. No, it means both. So that means that an EU citizen that lives in America cannot apply, and an American living in Europe can also not apply. You need to be a citizen and you need to live here. So that's just to kind of clarify because we've had that question before. Yeah, the Ukrainian participants must also be residing in the EU. And also, the last one is kind of an important one as well, to deliver some proof that either you've had organized a defense hackathon before, or you've had another kind of open innovation program with 30 to 50 participants. This is really good to show as a reference. Some more, we need the CVs of the project manager, the event production management, and the marketing management team. You need to have the capabilities to run the hackathon in a hybrid format given a timeline. You also need to have a financial capability to host this hackathon. So one of the additional rules is that we are looking that you are collecting 5K worth of sponsorships that you can provide to the teams. Of this 5K, a minimum of 3K needs to be a monetary prize fund. So of course you can do a lot more than that, but we're looking for a minimum of 3K financial support and then the 2K worth of in-kind contribution. Then good digital connectivity. Of course, we need to see you and we need to be able to talk to you. And we need to have one person that is trained in up-to-date cybersecurity measures and some data protection management as well. So GDPR compliant. And this person would need to be responsible for making sure that there's no data leaks and that your systems are not exposed unnecessarily. So yeah, capability to broadcast to the central hub. This means you need to have a quite robust technical team that is capable of sparring in the room together, setting something up that we can talk to the central hub and going back and forth. You need to have a capability to execute and facilitate some prototype testing as well. So that's that hardware part again. If you have questions to ask them in the Q&A part. You need to have access to defense and space related technical mentors, also selection boards and jury members to evaluate the teams. This is extremely important. Bring out in your applications not only that you have a connection with space and with defense, but also explain how you intend to incorporate that relationship into your hackathon. And this is extremely important because a lot of new people enter in the defense market, they have great ideas and they want to do it immediately, but it turns out because they're not familiar with that world, that maybe their ideas are not so suitable. And it's better for them to realize that early on than later. So yeah, you need to be able to communicate and promote your activities. And then the last one, yeah, so basically linking again what I mentioned before to kind of military academia, think tanks, defense industry, NGOs, startup founder clubs. These type of connections, they are really important. At least that's what we've seen from previous hackathon editions, that this is a really good source to get a lot of applicants from. Eligibility, submit before the 22nd. Have it in a readable PDF format, include the free CVs that I talked about earlier, and please do attach the following free annexes. So a communication and dissemination strategy for the event. Make sure here to include the space and the defense dimension, your social media channels and websites, and the numbers that they're doing, and then examples of some relevant communication products that you might need. As well, include a general expense budget. This is really important for us to understand, okay, the money that you would receive from us in support, is it enough? And where are you getting some of the other funding from? And just it gives a good general overview for us to see how much these things would cost for you. Okay, I think I talked quite a lot in a row. I'll go quickly read through your comments that you've been posting here already. But in the meantime, I would like to invite now Francisco to the stage from CARSA, and he will be able to talk to you a little bit more about the EMS platform, how to apply, and what are the processes in place that you would need to follow. Are you here, Francisco? I did see him join at some point, so I do know that he is here, but let's see, maybe he joined with a different link. And then maybe he doesn't have the correct parts to now start talking. One moment. Yes, I see here you're registered as a participant, but I will now allow your microphone and I will allow the camera now. I think this should be good now, right, Francisco? Should work. I'm getting a phone call. One moment, otherwise I will present this part as well. Okay, let me try this one more time to give him the access now. Francisco from Carsa, you should have now the ability to open your microphone and your camera. And I will make you as well a presenter. That should resolve the issue. Yes, I did see you for a moment. Okay, I will otherwise continue. Hi. Hi, Luca. Okay, Francisco is now joining again. Hold on for one moment, and maybe I can already start answering some of the questions in the meantime. Okay. Okay, Francisco, are you in there now? I'm getting in. Just hang on. One second here. Yeah, one moment. Yes, you are as an attendee, but I will make you allow camera. Allow mic. All right. Hi, Francisco. Can you hear us now? You should be able to. At least I see you, so that's good. You cannot. I have also make you a presenter now. So now it should be working, right? If you can unmute yourself, Francisco. No, you don't have the right. Okay, I will present the slides. It's okay. No problem. Okay, you'll have to listen to me a little bit more. Okay, I try to make it a bit more interactive. You know, you can see more people, but I'll take it on me. And Francisco, if I forget to mention something, please do note it in the Q&A, and then we can handle it that way. Okay, so in short, we have here all of your information on the EUDIS Hackathon website. From there, you can click on the Apply Now button, and that will redirect you to the eudiscarsa.es website. And that is Carsa's open call management system, the EMS platform. There you can register in order to manage your application. So that means you can close it and you can come back to it. You can also share this account with other people in your organization so that they can manage the same application without having to do an application twice, basically. If you can't wait and you want the information immediately before even registering, there's a button as well, Guide for Applicants. This is the perfect overview. If you would need to spend time on anything, then please spend your time on that one. It has all of the information needed. It has everything there. If there's something missing there, then reach out. But most of the time, your questions can be answered from there. Um, from that moment on, so this is the registration process, we don't ask too many things like username, first name, last name, email address, blah, 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 blah. Maybe it's good to include as well your VAT number and your company. This is just for our background check and we know who you are basically. And then you have your account to which you can start your application. You can start it here, and then later on, when you come back from it, you can go to My Applications and you can see them again. These are the parts that we are asking upfront. So this is a little bit of like a eligibility questions to just to make sure that upfront you know for sure you are eligible. So this is not a list necessarily for us, right? We know if you're eligible or not. We can look at this and we can see it, but this is also something for you to really read, okay? Because we don't want to waste your time. If you are not eligible, I'm sorry, we cannot look at your proposal and consider it. So read this carefully and make sure that you have basically in your organization what it takes. Some of it is it's delving into the technical requirements, upload speed and whatnot. But some of it also talks more about having the division between a project manager, marketing manager, and an event production manager with the correct CVs as well. Point 11 to 13. The first one being quite long, but this is basically that you have an autonomous capability to conduct all of the communication and promotion activities. So can you, even without our support, do something really great? So on top of our support, it will be even more amazing, right? You should also kind of consider the risks that maybe you have low amount of applicants and if you've done that or not. And in terms of security and data protection, at least one of your staff members should have up-to-date training in cybersecurity measures and in GDPR measures. So these are two separate things, and we don't do this for no reason, okay? So it's super easy to click yes. It's super hard to actually do accurately, but it's needed in this project. We are in a defense ecosystem now. We are in a defense sector, and it's not without, the whole baggage comes along with that, and I'm not joking about that part. So please make sure that you are able to do that part extremely well. Then it comes to the uploading of the application. So you can download the template there. Template should have everything there written in good blocks. Please stick to that format as well. It makes our lives a lot easier in the evaluation part. But the template is kind of complementary to the guide of applicants. It has kind of makes sure that you bring out the correct points for us to evaluate you correctly. So follow the template. As you can see here as well, we have asking for the 3 CVs separately with the profile names attached to it. Then we have also a template for the communication promotion plan and for the budget table. And please upload everything in only PDF, right? So export to PDF from Word. Let's see. Yeah. You cannot press submit unless you have uploaded everything. This is to make sure that you're not missing something. Sometimes, you miss a CV or something like that, and then you become ineligible. We want to avoid the situation. So you can submit before, but as soon as you do submit, you can also submit again. So if you just want to get like a basic fast version into the system, apply, do it. And if later you have more time to perfect the application, please do that too. Okay, so make sure that, and also we encourage this kind of behavior because it's better for our system. So feel free to just upload something good and then later on upload something perfect. And then congratulations, you have submitted your application, and we will take a look at it. All in all, we've asked from previous applicants as well, how long does it normally take to make a good application following our templates and whatnot. And they say it's between 40 and 50 hours, including all of the internal meetings and meetings with stakeholders. So That is about a week, which you do have more than enough for that. Of course, I do understand as well that it's not your full-time full-time obligation now to run this application, but and you have other things to do. But if you start now, reaching out at least internally and also externally, you're set up for a good application. Okay, I'll quickly take a look at the time, and actually we're kind of good still, so that's nice. If you do have questions later, please post them here, and I will also encourage Francisco to take a look at the Q&A in case there are some questions specifically for that. Um, all right, I will talk now a bit more about the tips for successful applicants. And that's just looking at what previous applicants have done very well. And it's for you to understand what we're looking for. Um, yeah, so one thing that's really important is to emphasize your previous hackathon or kind of open innovation program experience. It doesn't necessarily have to be only in the defense sector. It can also draw on experience from outside of the defense sector. This is important for us because we are looking at basically through the lens of will you be capable of bringing at least 50 people to your hackathon and work with them effectively. So the more proof of that you have, the better it is for your application. Second point here is that make sure that you bring out your defense and your space connection. These fields are very closely related, so it's quite nice. But make sure to really explain not only don't only attach a letter of a MOD that it will support you. This is great, okay? Please, if you have a letter of support, attach them and show it. But also explain a little bit more about how you actually try to involve them and for what purpose. And that can be to be mentors, or it can be to be a keynote speaker, it can be to attract an audience. There's plenty of parts, but good applicants really narrow it down on the use case of these important relationships. So basically, what do they bring on board? Another part, it delves a bit more with what I said earlier about attracting the participants. So do you or your partners have existing network to relevant hackathon participants? Think universities, think whatever stakeholder group comes to mind. You can argue for that in your application. And what will you do to ensure that you receive that 50 people on the event? Because it's an important clause for us. Also emphasizing your sponsors. So we mentioned earlier that you are required to have some monetary prize pool as well. We see really, especially in the beginning of launching your hackathon, that the location with the most money available will have an easier start to attract people. It doesn't mean that in the end it ends up being like that the people with the highest prize money have the most people. That definitely not, but it does help early on in your recruitment process. And not only does it this financial cash prize, actually, sponsors are also really nice to attract a younger audience in case they want internship positions and whatnot. So really kind of boast your local sponsors and your local ecosystem. It's really great to see that, I think. So best practices here, make sure that the online participants have a similar experience to the on-site participants. Of course, I write here that equally pleasant experience. That's not always the case. Physical is always better. I understand that, but make sure that they don't feel too left out. So if you are doing a local program and you're having local keynote speakers, make sure that the online participants can also follow along and see that. In some cases as well, we see hybrid teams. So teams that are on site, but also off site and at home. It's important to have kind of some systems in place to engage them. A lot of that can happen through the Discord that we are providing. Yeah, best practice is start searching for mentors and selection board members and promote them early on the website. This is also really great. Some local organizers have great mentors, but they do not always put them online. And actually, we see that it helps very much. Make sure you're adhering to a strict timeline. We will be working quite closely together with you. So a part of that is also on our responsibility, but we will be doing whatever we can to also make sure that everything is in order at the right time. And then take part of the central hub coaching calls and other provided resources. So like I mentioned before, we will be meeting to zoom in on specific topics in the hackathon. We will be explaining them and answering questions and making sure that everybody has the same level of familiarity with the tools. So we'll be doing part of it together, right? That's what I'm trying to say. We'll do part of that setup together. All right. I will now look at the Q&A. I will do them from reverse chronological order. So I'm just looking at what came in first, and I will handle them one by one. Okay. We have, I think, plenty of time. So it's now, yeah, we basically have half an hour for that Q&A. I don't think we need the full half an hour, but it's going to be fine. I will go over the questions now. So first one, hello, is it possible for the same organizer to apply multiple hackathons, for multiple hackathons? For example, for the spring and for the autumn, or for the autumn and for the next version in 2026. Yes, this is possible, and it has happened before that a local organizer applied again and then won also again. That's not always a given. There's also been cases where a local organizer applies again and then turns out that there was a better one in that country. So it's not a given that immediately it won't look up, you won't be evaluated negatively because you've already done it before. But at the same time, we won't look at it super like, yeah, it's just you can apply and we will take it on face value. All right, I see now a bunch of questions. I will handle them one by one. Should we organize also a mentorship program which follows the hackathon? Yeah, you don't have to worry about the mentorship program that follows the hackathon because that will be organized centrally by us. However, it might be that you would like to provide in-kind contribution. So that's not a financial prize, but maybe another type of prize. It can be access to your venue or like an office space. It can be event tickets, but it can also be some sort of mentorship. So you're able to do it, but from experience, the teams are on a very busy schedule with our mentorship program already. But no, that's not necessarily on your part. Is all communication with participants before and during the hackathon held in the Taikai platform, or can we use different solutions, Slack or Discord? Yeah, good question. I don't believe I've talked much about the Taikai platform. But basically, we are providing local organizers full control over their Taikai platform where they can look for participants and the participants can register from that. We're going to do it a little bit more light than we did the previous time. So if there's any local organizers here that were there previously, we're going to do it a bit more lightly. But we're also going to provide a Discord channel ourselves where you can interact. And I think that most of the interactions going the back and forth and the matchmaking anyway, it happens on Discord rather than on Taikai. The local organizer's webinar should highlight local strength and improve the skills of the already registered participants as well, with the flexibility to tailor topics as long as you align with the theme and challenges of the hackathon. Can you please elaborate or provide an example how and what skills should be improved during the webinar? Good question. We're trying to build here some kind of familiarity with the defense sector. So it can be you can focus on kind of skills that make an entrepreneur good or skills that can help navigate the defense sector. A lot of people have provided a more like kind of keynote speaking part on top of the challenges to make them feel more familiar. So that's also an important part to do. Some people have included in their webinar as well an introduction to their local ecosystem or their local innovation ecosystem. This works very well also. So yeah, it's skills I would interpret quite broadly. But the better you do it, yeah, it is nice. Basically, we ask you to add value to your ecosystem, something that you might be doing anyway, but then put it into the jacket of the hackathon. What is a typical time to contract within EUDIS? Is this again like 2 years like the EDF? Yeah, so David already answered that in the comments. So as we launched the EUDIS actions, we don't have the data yet, but the idea is to shorten this time as much as possible. Um, what is the paper David mentioned? Okay, you can see in the Q&A already David answered that and had a white paper. This is really important actually. Okay, so when we talked about those connection to the defense sector and kind of boasting how, or like proving your connection to it, taking a look at those white papers from EDF, it's quite relevant. It provides you with the terminology that we are looking for sometimes. So when we're talking about the themes and the challenges that we've laid out, it's also based on that white paper. So I would anyway recommend to read everything that EDF is publishing, because that's they're setting the dot on the horizon for the European defense sector. Are there any limitations on who a local organizer can be? It looks like many previous organizers are universities. Is it also open to professional service companies, innovation studios, etc.? Yes, everything is completely open there. Private or public entity based in EU or Norway, like David also mentioned here in the comments. We've also had that many times happening. The private sector, private ecosystem partners are organizing it. So yeah, it won't hurt or benefit anything. It's just a neutral thing. Just private or public, both are fine. What kind of marketing activities are planned to get as many possible attendees to the hackathon? Who will do and finance this? Good question. So it will be a bit of both. Mostly it will rely on the local organizer to kind of engage with their local defense and space community to attract the audience. However, we will provide a lot of social media templates and communication messages to you as well to make your life a bit easier, and also to unify our messaging. And we will provide some social media budget as well. If there's one person from Forma here present, they can mention exactly the number, but I believe it was something around 2K, 2.4 is a number I remember that can be spent on advertisements. At the same time, there will be a lot of communication done from our side as well, but we will do it more generally about the program. So we can't channel participants to a certain country. We're going to talk about EUDIS hacks in general. Yeah, thus organizing in addition at the Cassini hackathon with 70 plus participants qualify as relevant experience for organizing this hackathon. Yes, it does. So please consider that as well. That is indeed relevant experience. A participant can choose any of the organizers. Yes. So I think most participants choose the location that is closest to them that they can attend. But yes, they can join also online other locations, or they can go there physically. By the way, just a general thing, a general comment when you're planning these things. Some of the previous participants have also asked to be if the facilities offer an opportunity to sleep. So a lot of them are students. They don't want to pay for a hotel, but they still want to go to your venue. Is there an opportunity to sleep? Some local organizers have put air mattresses in the hall and whatnot. They had a lot of fun, but be creative with that part as well. It's not a must. Okay, we don't demand that. We don't evaluate that either. But it's just something to keep in mind. What kind of spirit sometimes those weekends have. Do your defense-related technical members also need to be EU citizens? Yes, they do. So they need to be EU citizens, EU member state of Norway, or Ukraine, right? So Ukraine are also allowed. Is there any limitation on the number of local hackathons that will be supported? Yeah, we will look to support 8 locations for this edition. How does the money need to be justified by organizers? Um, we don't really ask for super hard like justification how you spend things. With any EU project, in case you get audited, you need to be able to provide receipts for after like 5 years of the program. But that's just a standard rule with EU projects. We will ask you to fill in a report at the end. It's a hackathon report where we ask you to break down the cost that you've actually made, right? So we will provide some financing to you, but we'll just look at how much money did you actually spend. Most likely, it's going to be more than the 24K that we provide. But it is more for curiosity from our side, into what we can support you. But we don't look at every single payment you've made and looked at, okay, was this justified or not? Could you have spent it differently? Of course, when there's really big problems, then we might look at it more closely. But yeah, don't buy a new car basically, but just spend the money on organizing the hackathon. We've sent numerous emails to contact email in regards to organizing, and none have been answered. How can we contact you? Okay, good point. I will open it and have a look at that. I think it's the best way to contact is to go to the contacting email address. If not, you can also contact directly, probably to me. Please don't all start doing that. I will answer your emails as well on the other email address, but if it's really urgent and you're like, worried about something, you can write to me as well. Do we have to provide the mentors for the 2 months mentorship phase? Okay. This is a good question, right? So no, please don't. We will organize the mentorship part completely ourselves. We have our own mentors, our own workshop hosts. Everything is done. What we mean with mentors is actually for the hackathon weekend itself. So you will have a bunch of teams running around in your venue trying to develop really good ideas. And we ask of you to have defense or space experts or business experts present at your venue that can help the teams out in their journey to create a good defense tech startup. So that's what we mean with the mentors. And if you have already a really good network, you can show that in your application. At the same time, we will also be sharing our network with you. So in case, well, anyway, it's your responsibility to have really good mentors, but we also provide you with who we know in your country that can potentially help you, and it'll be up to you to onboard them and or not, right? Sorry, I have to scroll a bit down now. I'm making sure that I don't did I see all of your parts. How can you modify the institution's details in the registration? Once you are registered, they cannot be changed. Francisco, if you could answer this question directly in the comment, that would be great. I'm not sure if this is, I don't know. I've not gone through the process myself. I would try to look on the user and try to edit it. Otherwise, maybe make a new account. But I'm sure that we can address that. If Francisco is currently in the chat, I would ask him to answer that. The question was asked 22 minutes ago. Okay, looking at the time. So, are there any restrictions on the hackathon participants? The website describes a mix of students and defense personnel. Can SMEs and larger companies enter teams? Yeah. Okay. So this is going to be a bit of a broader question here. We are one of the evaluation criteria that we use during the hackathon itself, just to make sure it's fair for everybody, is that we are looking at the progress made during the hackathon weekend. That is something we do keep in mind. We do tailor a bit more towards young entrepreneurs, not meaning age, but like students and defense personnel entering this market and brainstorming together, making something new and innovative. Because we don't want to open up too much to SMEs and larger companies to join, because it would be really discouraging for the other teams. And there's other programs for defense tech companies that are more advanced. They have already a lot of other support actions. David already mentioned some of them, right? So the matchmaking program and the EUDIS accelerator. I would rather ask them to apply there than to the hackathons, because otherwise they can come in and kind of push out some of the new entrants. Um, of course, it's okay if a team has done a little bit of work before together. They have like an initial product and whatever. That's okay as long as they can add a lot. It can still be valuable for them to do a 3-day sprint hackathon event. I want to avoid people joining in with their existing idea, not doing anything super concrete the weekend, and then pitch on Sunday and take the prize. This is not really what we would like. That's not the experience we would like to offer. Which is the minimum of participants expected? Yeah, so that number would be 50. How can we control the online participants, work/assistants? So the central hub activities and live stream will all happen through Discord, so they will anyway be able to follow that program. All of you will also get your own space in Discord where you can make teams for like team spaces for your teams and do some matchmaking activities. So they can do it that way. And if you do any local activities, like local keynote speaker or something like that, we can also recommend you to stream that on the Discord. So this way, they kind of have the feeling like they're in the room and they can interact with people without being there. So that's probably the best way to do that. It's not perfect. It's not the same as being there physically, but yeah, it is better than nothing. And does cybersecurity training happen in the period leading up to the hackathon itself, or does the person need to have the certifications at the time of applying? Mm, we hope that in your organization you have an IT specialist that might have some of those certifications and they can show that directly. I would like to see them. Some of the trainings, they don't take too long, like a course on GDPR training, because I had to take all of them as well, right? Part of the program. So I can speak a little bit from experience here. There are programs and certifications that you can do in a couple days. So it shouldn't be too much of a hassle. However, I do want there to be someone that can double check your kind of security systems and make sure that those are up to date. So it's more of we want your systems to be really, really secure. And the only way we can easily see that if you have an experienced person in your team that deals with that matter. So yes, I don't know, that's a kind of like a non-answer, but yes, we would like you to have something during the application before you apply. And it can be done quite easily following some courses that are not too intensive or expensive, but they're still quite good, especially with the GDPR part. Okay. About the budget analysis of expenses, could you elaborate a little bit more? Yeah, I think I've done that a bit already, but just in case I missed something, towards the end, a hackathon report, we'll ask you to fill in the table. It's just like general categories. So how much did you spend on facility? How much did you spend on catering? How much on marketing? How much on prize money? And those type of categories. Nothing crazy. The table is like kind of short and it's mostly for our internal reporting. Obviously, when we see that something went completely wrong and the hackathon never happened, but you did spend the money and all of that part, and of course, then we will take a look at it. But normally, we don't really look at it other than getting some statistics on how much it costs. Can UK students or SMEs participate in the hackathon? Unfortunately, not because they are not EU members, so they cannot. No. What are the dates for the spring 2026 hackathon? I don't think that we have done that part yet. Most likely, these will be announced after the October hackathon. Right now, we're just looking for the autumn organizers. I would urge you to apply for the autumn edition, 17th of October. After that one, we will at our side reapply as well, and that's when we would get to know the next spring hackathon dates. So last time, our previous spring edition, it was the 9th of May. I like that day, so it might be that it's going to be around that time, but that's all I can say about that. Selection board. Is it a synonym for jury who evaluates teams? Yes, it is. So selection board is the jury members that kind of select the winners. I think jury is way easier than selection board member as well. So, but good that you asked that to clarify. What is the IP agreement for ideas/concept built out of the hackathon? IP always belongs to the teams. That's first and foremost. So teams hold the IP that they create during the hackathon. EUDIS, I don't know if this is a question more focused on what EUDIS or what our consortium does with it or what the US local organizers can do with it. But no, IP always belongs to the teams. EUDIS is not interested in owning that type of IP. They don't anyway do that. We are, as a consortium and as EUDIS, more interested in just boosting the innovation sector in Europe from bottom up everything. So that's what our incentives are. For local organizers, you cannot do anything with the ideas. Okay, please don't do it. And we make sure that we have accurate NDAs in place for all people involved, also even participants from other teams, to make sure that we don't have an issue with that. And just to clarify, we had another edition where the local organizers loved the idea so much that they wanted to join the team. And we also had to say that, hey, look, come on, there's a little bit of a conflict here. Conflict of interest, meaning that you cannot vote on the winning team and then try to join it. So we are quite strict on that. Are all hackathons happening at the same date? Yes, exactly. Yeah, all of them will happen simultaneously, and we will connect all locations together through a central hub at various points during the hackathon weekend. We call them check-ins. And we basically, it will be our host from the central hub talking to all of the hosts in each locations and kind of doing a check-in. Hey, how are you doing? Which challenge is doing the best? How many people do you have? How many hours did you sleep? How many liters of coffee did you consume? Just like kind of a fun, light-hearted interaction and kind of making sure that all the locations has this shared European part. Yeah, so all of them will happen at the same time. There will be a central program provided by us when we do those check-ins, and besides that, you have your own freedom to do what you want. We have experience applying in the Cassini hackathons with the same format. Getting MOD partnership isn't as an easy or like a walk in the park. We've installed tracking in the PDFs and the Cassini applications have not been opened. How can you ensure that this is not a wasted effort and ensure transparency? I cannot talk about the Cassini hackathons and what they are doing organization-wise. I'm not sure what you mean with those trackers on PDFs or if they were maybe removed during the application process. I think it's quite strange if they haven't opened it, to be honest, but I cannot comment on that part. How can we ensure that this is not a wasted effort and ensure transparency? Well, I mean, we look at all of them, we open them, all of them. You can put a tracker in it if you want to do that again. Then you can see that we open them. I mean, that's probably the best way we can do that. If you have any doubts, if we looked at it, then ask for feedback in case you got denied. Maybe that's a good way. So ask for like, hey, reasoning why you didn't get it. Maybe we can communicate with you about the scoring that we have done. We also have everything logged in the EMS platform. Maybe that's the difference between what we do and what Cassini has done. So we have an open call management platform where we can see and log all of the activities, who looked at what in the consortium and scored which part. So yeah, from our side, maybe it's a bit organized differently than there. I don't know. I'm not part of the Cassini execution. But yeah, we have those logs built in the EMS platform. If you really want to, if you have doubts, then please ask for feedback and we can give that to you. Does the ESA personnel qualification applies to the required certification you were talking about before? Maybe could you send this over email? Then I could answer that better. Probably. I'm not familiar with all of the parts that all those certifications that you mentioned there before. I think if you have a NATO part, then it should be good. But please answer it over email, and I will make sure if I have a better answer to that question, I'll also make sure to include that in the Q&A document that we'll be releasing. Can members of national defense forces participate directly in the hackathon? Yes, we encourage that a lot. We've had that many times where there will be even people on active duty participating in the hackathon. We think it's really great if they do. We also see that it has a lot of kind of impact on the other teams because they are always kind of kind people that want to share their actual challenges. So this provides a lot of relevance for everybody around them. So yes, for sure, they can. Make sure that they anyway we can do that during the coaching call, but it's important that if they want to remain anonymous, that you have systems in place for that. Okay, so that's good. The requirement to the organizers versus grant seem very inappropriate. Budget of the 3 times the current level is much more suitable. The effort needed, as presented today, is for at least 8 to 10 person months FTE, requiring the involvement of highly professional technical experts in the space, defense topics, security, public relations, and communications, networking with the community, jury, etc., etc. To achieve the desired impact, achieve the desired impact. I'm afraid such a low budget provided to potential organizers and incentives to participate is jeopardizing achieving high impact, sustainable outcome of this EUDIS initiative. Yes, we don't mean to say that your event will cost 24K. Your event will most likely cost a lot more money than that, not to scare you away, but just to be realistic as you are here. And that's why we would ask you to rely on sponsorship. In a way, we are looking also for local organizers who are interested in the defense space, who are organizing hackathons on a more regular or frequent basis, and who are experienced in doing so, and who have those type of connections already. And this has happened quite well in the previous editions as well. In the end, all of them really worked out good, and there was sufficient budget. Of course, more is always better, and I understand that too from your side. But at the moment, it is 24K, and we cannot change that. I'm not saying that it will always be that in the future, but at the moment, it is, I think, 24.5K, something like that. But yes, no, I expect you to work a lot with your local ecosystem and with your sponsors to account for the remaining part. Yeah. So it's just a contribution to what you're doing and what you're already working hard for to achieve. All right. I hope that I was not too direct in that, but it's a valid point. Yeah, you should expect to spend a bit more than that. Unfortunately, of course, if you are able to do what we outlined today here, 50 participants in one location for 24K, I mean, it's not unheard of. We do ask the financial reporting exactly for this reason, so that we can check as well that part as well. Sorry, I got an email. So we look at the financial reporting of the previous editions, and we see how much more they spent or how much less they spent, and on what categories were more expensive than others. So we do have that information. We see that some of them spent more, almost all of them spent more, but the range is quite heavy. So it depends also a little bit on the country that you're from. Sometimes things are more expensive. Okay. I'll be here for if you have any more questions. At the moment, I don't see them. We went through them quite rapidly. Okay, Francisco asked me if there was a question that he could answer. There was one, I believe. Yes, I remember, Francisco. If you could write in the Q&A, there's a question where someone had created an account on the EMS platform, and right now they were unable to change their VAT number or something like that. So the question is, do they have to start a new account, or can they somehow edit that? There was a question somewhere below if you could scroll down there and answer that. You can find it by the Q&A button on top. Okay, somebody asked, what happens if you get a low number of applicants? Yeah, we don't want that situation, of course, to happen, but it can happen. So we have a measure in place for financing. So we do a prepayment upfront and then a payment at the end. And if this is more like, it doesn't mean that, okay, you got 45 applicants instead of 50 or 30 applicants. There's definitely a range there. But there is an opportunity that we withhold the financing for afterwards. And that's just in case you receive financing, you don't do anything, we don't see any effort from your side and the hackathon flops, then of course it's a different story. But if you can see from you that you've tried everything humanly possible to make a good hackathon event, and unfortunately it's the case where it didn't happen, then of course we look at the situation differently. And of course, if we have other local organizers who are going crazy over their 50 KPI, it makes the situation also a little bit easier for us to be lenient in that part. So I wouldn't say be too scared about that. Make sure it's 50. But if it's a bit lower than that, you're not going to get like severely punished. But unless you didn't do anything and you bought the car with the money or something like that. Thank you for the info session. Yeah, no problem. Jordi, if you have any more questions, feel free to follow up. For clarity, less than 50 participants apply. Yeah, please. So 50 is the KPI. We would like you to have at least 50 participants, physical or online. Oh, you mean that apply? No, present. So Friday, 17th of October, we are kicking off the program, and you have 50 people either online or offline participating. So not applicants, but actual people hacking. That's what we look at. And actually, we even ask how many people started and how many people ended up pitching on stage and what kind of a dropout rate is. But that's just more for our own information, not anything to do with you. We just want 50 people to walk in that door on Friday or to join in online and ready to hack. That's what we're looking for. Dropout rates depends a little bit on country to country. We've had like larger cases where it went from, I don't know, 120 to like 30 people showing up. This is the biggest dropout rate that we have. But in some cases, it's not like that. Some people have like 100 applicants and in the end 90 people or like 70 people or something show up. So that's about yeah, it really depends on what your connection is with the local ecosystems and the participants that kind of determine your dropout rate. Maybe you have organized previous hackathons and you kind of understand your dropout rate. It's also possible, but you definitely need to have more applications than 50. Otherwise, you will never have 50 people showing up. Okay. I'll wait a moment for maybe there's some more questions. Okay, I also have the answer from Francisco about the Carsa platform. In case you would like to edit your organizational information, please send us an email to contact@eudis hackathon.eu. And then Carsa will change the information on their side, so from the back end. So please make sure to reach out. Our contact email, maybe it's in the end here. Yes, here. So please write an email here, contact@eudis hackathon.eu. And we will make sure that your information is correct. Can applicants register as teams or only as individuals? Yeah, good question. So we would like teams to have a minimal team size of 2, maximum around 5 or 6. They can register as individuals, and we will facilitate together with you the matchmaking process. So in the Taikai platform, they can start creating their team. And they can even say, okay, we are missing a UX developer. We're missing this someone from the defense sector specialized in this field. So it almost becomes this job vacancy board where they can matchmake with each other through the Taikai platform. Alternatively, they can also find a team through the Discord. So yeah, they can register individually. Then they can make or join a team. We also have seen that people join teams on the spot on Friday. So they say, okay, I tried matchmaking, but it's not really for me to do this online. I would rather meet people face to face. So they come to the venue and they join the team there on the spot. This is also possible. So this is also not to discourage any participants in case they cannot find a team in time or whatnot. We leave that open. But in the end, you cannot pitch like alone. It's not like a solo solution. You do in the end need to have a team of minimum 2 people. Okay. I see sometimes good questions still pop up, so I'm going to not close the session early. I will be here for a little bit more in case there's even more questions, because you have some good ones and many ones, which is nice. Sometimes you do info sessions and there's not many questions, but now they are, which is good. Or maybe we were not so clear, but so you can interpret it both ways. I see now the warning 5 minutes left in our meeting. I'll give it some time. But yeah, so the application time, we asked it from the previous organizers to kind of give us an indication how much time did you spend on this proposal, and they all said like 1 week or like 40 to 50 hours, a couple days, sometimes some people. Um, Probably, most likely, most of the time that you will dedicate to this proposal will be networking with your stakeholders, right? So to get a little bit a letter of support here or there, or kind of more clarity on how you work together with your ecosystem, that probably takes like most of the calendar days. So not like time spending on something, but that will take most of the days or like a week. So I do recommend you to do that quite early on. And I think the actual writing and deciding the details on how to do it is quite low intensity. But I can encourage you all, if we do have some time left now in the meeting, to open the website, download not only the guidelines for applicants, but also download immediately the template for the proposal.